At 6:01, it's 72 degrees. Tonight, mostly clear skies, a low of 62 by the lakefront, 58 inland. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Jessica Gatso. President Trump is sending federal troops to Memphis to fight crime. CBS's Stacey Lynn.
He said Memphis needs help.
A person is 4 times more likely to be murdered in Memphis, Tennessee today than in Mexico City.
And signed a presidential memorandum to establish the Memphis Safe Task Force, which will include
the National Guard as well as the FBI, ATF, DEA, ICE, Homeland Security investigations, and the U.S. Marshals.
And he has plans for other cities, too.
We think Chicago is going to be next, and we'll get to St. Louis also. And New Orleans we want to get to, too.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News, the White House.
Decision, Wisconsin. A state senator launches a run for governor.
I'm Kelda Royce, and for 25 years, I've been fighting for Wisconsin alongside you and delivering.
Kelda Royce previously ran for governor in 2018, finishing third in the Democratic primary. She's now the fourth Democrat to enter the race following Governor Tony Evers' decision to not seek a third term.
Now, with everything on the line, Wisconsin needs a governor who's been training for this moment her whole career and who knows how to deliver.
There are currently 2 Republicans who have announced campaigns, while others in both parties are still considering a run. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
Former Milwaukee Police Department employee Marcy Patterson makes her initial appearance in court.
The 45-year-old is charged with election fraud after voting in Milwaukee while falsely reporting her address. She was actually living in Brown Deer. She was also employed with the Milwaukee Police Department at the time, where she was getting paid an extra 3% for living in the city. If found guilty, Patterson could face a fine up to $10,000, imprisonment for up to 3 years and 6 months, or both. Her signature bond was set at $5,000. Her preliminary hearing is set for October 3rd. Elizabeth Linton in WTMJ News.
Another stretch of warm weather in southeast Wisconsin could lead to the return of some pesky bloodsuckers.
It's not just standing water from recent flooding in southeast Wisconsin leading to an uptick in mosquito numbers. Dr. Lyric Bartholomew from the Midwest Center of Excellence for Vector-Borne Disease tells Wisconsin's Midday News a recent shift in the region's vegetation zone means the bugs have increased access to food.
Male and female mosquitoes also take nectar, and so those nectar sources might be different too and interact with the mosquitoes in unexpected ways.
And shorter winters could mean longer mosquito seasons in the future. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 6:03.
With all the positive Google reviews continuing to pour in for Richlon's Tire and Service Centers, we want you to know we appreciate you.
You were due for service, we delivered, and then you went the extra mile and wrote a few kind words about the service you experienced.
Yeah, thank you so much. Michael, Glenn, Jeff, Lisa, Carol, Jason, John,
Wait,
Michelle,
hang on a
Ryan.
second, Dad. As fun as it may be to name every single person who's ever left us a Google review, there just isn't enough time. We get 60 seconds, and I'd say we've got about 28 left.
Ah, good point, Courtney.
Listen, we appreciate every last one of you for helping us maintain a nearly 5-star Google rating. And we're going to keep on shooting for the stars, especially when it comes to providing top-notch auto repair service.
Yep, and remember, be safe, buckle up, and hey, always make sure you've got good tread on your tires. Peter, Bruce, Samantha, Kimberly, Nick, Heather,
Oh,
Marissa,
Dad.
George, Jeremy, Diane, Brad, Paul.
Potential is like God's love. It lives within everyone and shows us that we are made for more. At Aug Prep, faith ignites excellence in academics, the arts, athletics, and every aspect of our lives. Students don't just realize their full potential, we learn to soar. The #1 K-12 school in Milwaukee is expanding to the North Shore and is now enrolling grades K4 through 6th and 9th. Aug Prep North, made for more. Apply today at augprep.org.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gerber Law offices. One call, that's all sports desk. The playoff-bound Brewers lost the final game of their home series, 3-2 to the St. Louis Cardinals. They have the night off tonight before hosting the Angels tomorrow. The Brewers remain at 5.5 games ahead of the Cubs at the top of the NL Central. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Time Safer traffic. We have a crash causing some delays on 41 northbound. Looks like the two left lanes are blocked at North Avenue. You'll see delays back at Watertown Plank Road. Also some delays lingering on 41 southbound between Silver Spring and Capitol Drive. Taking a look at the WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, mostly clear skies, low of 62 by the lakefront, 58 degrees inland. Tuesday, mostly sunny and warm, a high of 78 by the lakefront, 83 inland. Wednesday, still mostly sunny, a high of 80 by the lakefront, 84 inland. Thursday, still mostly sunny, a height of 81 by the lake, 84 inland. And on Friday, partly cloudy skies, a high of 76. Right now in Madison, it's 78 degrees. In Green Bay, it's 76. In Waukesha, it's 76. And in Milwaukee, it's 72 degrees. I'm Jessica Gatso, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 6:07.
Your need-to-know cultural snapshot of Wisconsin and beyond. This is What's on Tap with Sandy Maxx, sponsored by Visit Milwaukee. A deep dive into all things intriguing, riveting, and entertaining. Now, here's your host, Sandy Maxx.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me on What's on Tap, sponsored by Visit Milwaukee. Only an hour together tonight because after the 7 o'clock newscast, you will hear the audio version of the baseball documentary Just a Bit Outside, the story of the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers, and it's also going to include a special interview with one of the filmmakers. I saw it in the theaters when it came out. It is an incredible experience, and I'm telling you, just even hearing the audio is going to be special. So that will be just after the 7 o'clock newscast, and we're going to dive into another documentary tonight because Milwaukee Film's Dialogues Documentary Festival has returned. Thursday through Sunday at both the Oriental and the Downer theaters on the east side, you could see over 30 films of all kinds of subjects, including one about the leading lady in The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy Gale. And joining me live in studio will be film critic and Oz historian Ryan J. for a chat with film director Jeffrey McHale, because the film is called It's Dorothy. And I guess when you think about it, the 1939 movie that so many of us are familiar with Judy Garland, but Frank Baum's The Wonderful Wizard of Oz is like a 125-year-old piece of literature. So this film, It's Dorothy, explores how Dorothy Gale, the character, has been embraced by different cultures, and the symbol that Dorothy Gale has. There's no place like home is just part of her storyline. So that conversation at 6:35 will likely have you wanting to see the documentary. And It's Dorothy will be at Milwaukee Film's Dialogues Documentary Festival Friday, 5:30 at the Oriental Theater. And our chat will be at 6:35. In the non-documentary world, I will share this past weekend's box office results for Downton Abbey, the grand finale, and Spinal Tap 2, and also on What's on Tap, a brief Emmys recap, winners to help you figure out what to stream next, and a Wisconsin actor got a subtle shout-out last night. Plus, what's happening in Wisconsin this weekend. I have a list of events and entertainment suggestions to tempt you to go ahead and make plans for next weekend. But what'd you do this past weekend? On Mondays, I like to know what a highlight of your weekend was. Something fun, maybe something you accomplished, cleaning out an old toolbox. Hey, what was it? Siding Unlimited, WTMJ Talk and Text line is 855-616-1620. 855-616-1620. Tell me something good about your weekend. And for me, it's a double date at the Stakeout on Saturday night. And honestly, all this sunshine on this September weekend was gorgeous. I wound up taking a couple of nice long walks. So tell me what was good about your weekend, and it's your turn to share. Siding Unlimited, WTMJ Talk and Text line 855-616-1620. Let me know, and I'll share your texts on the air throughout the show. But a quick Emmy recap. I know a lot of people are like, I am not spending 3 hours watching the Emmys. Well, I enjoy it, and I thought there were several highlights, and I mentioned just a minute ago that there was a Wisconsin actor who got a subtle shout out. And last night on the Emmys, there was a tribute to the Golden Girls, which celebrated the 40th anniversary of that show. There was a Gilmore Girls reunion. And as presenters, Ray Romano and Brad Garrett came out together to present an award. And they did their usual fictional brotherly hassling of each other. But they were reminiscing that, that their show had won Emmys. And this is a moment from that exchange.
You know what else I remember from that night is not only did we win for show, but my friend Brad here also won for Best Supporting Actor.
Thank you. Thank you. It's very nice. And you lost to Tony Shalhoub.
Yes, I did. I don't know why we needed to know that fact, but yes.
That chemistry from Everybody Loves Raymond. And Tony Shalhoub, Green Bay guy. Remember him from Monk, which is what I guess he probably won for against Ray Romano that year. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And if you're wondering, what is Tony Shalhoub doing now? He has a great new project on CNN. It's Tony Shalhoub's Breaking Bread. He's now traveling the world as a foodie, kind of a Stanley Tucci vibe there. So look for Tony Shalhoub on CNN bringing us food and travel. And another fun moment that caught my eye early in the Emmy Awards was Seth Rogen. And I'm telling you, this show called The Studio, if you're not streaming it now, it won a lot of awards, and it is one of those you should add to your streaming list. It had a ton of nominations, and it won 13 Emmys last night, became the most awarded comedy series ever in a single series. And it's basically the TV industry and the streaming industry making fun of itself. So I'm not completely caught up on it. But when Seth Rogen won the first award of the night, this was part of his acceptance speech.
Thank you. Wow, this is amazing. I so could not wrap my head around this happening that I literally prepared nothing. I've never won anything in my life. When I was a kid, I bought a used bowling trophy at an estate sale. And my parents were like, yeah, that's a good idea. You should probably buy that.
So the bowling trophy caught my ear. So I would say certainly The Studio is something to watch. And Adolescence was the big surprise. 6 Emmys. They really dominated Best Limited Series, Acting, Writing, and Directing. And a really charming young man from Ireland named Owen Cooper won. And there were a lot of good speeches last night. And I also think that one of the big takeaways from last night is also watch The Pit. And Severance still got several wins, but that Nate Bargatze, he's fun. He's a good host. He seemed a little bit nervous, but that's all right. Wouldn't you be if you were up on that stage? But it was a good time. And if you're wondering if you heard about basically Nate Bargatze's idea to help people keep their acceptance speeches shorter was to overall donate $100,000 to a Boys and Girls Club. But the longer you went, the lesser that money would get. Well, by the end of the evening, it was a negative amount. But Nate Bargatze donated $250,000, and I'm forgetting who matched it, was $100,000. So Boys and Girls Clubs did get their donation, even though the acceptance speeches went long. Box office results and documentaries to watch on the big screen next on What's on Tap.
Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life.
Authorities in Utah arrest the suspect of the fatal shooting of conservative political activist Charlie Kirk. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson turned in after FBI released new photos.
Listen to Greg Massick and Jessica Ty each weekday from noon until 3 p.m.
Federal aid now approved after historic flooding right here in southeastern Wisconsin.
Only on 620 WTMJ.
I'm Sandy Maxx at WTMJ, and who do you know looking for a new job? There are incredible career opportunities with my friends at 3 Pillars Senior Living Communities in Dousman. 3 Pillars is ranked best in continuing care, assisted, and independent living, and they're a certified great place to work. They're hiring caregivers within their assisted living and memory care communities, full and part-time, day, evening shifts starting at $20 per hour, and you could get more based on experience and the shifts. Best part, you will make a difference in the lives of others every day at 3 Pillars. If you're interested or know someone who is, go to 3pillars.org and click on the Careers tab to learn more.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Dutch Boys Durafighter is an interior paint and primer in one with a tough, lasting formula. It provides great scrub resistance and durability with remarkable hide and a smooth finish. Save big on Dutch Boys Durafighter paint at Menards and start your next project today. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Have you heard a lot of buzz about tariffs?
No.
Really?
What's a tariff?
It's a tax on imported goods.
Well, I've never heard of tariffs because 92.3% of Penny Mustard's furniture is made in the USA.
True.
In fact, most of it is built by local craftsmen and women right here in the Midwest.
And locally sourced furniture will never have a tariff on it.
Can we talk about this later? I'm tired of hearing about these tariffs.
So I guess you can say that all this talk about tariffs is taxing.
PennyMustard.com.
How did the movie I counted down the months for over a year do at the box office this weekend? I'm Sandy Maxx. I am a Downton Abbey fan. Downton Abbey, the grand finale. I saw it on the press junket last week and absolutely adored the movie. I will not give you any spoilers. I will tell you that pretty much everybody that I know who's seen it has said they were satisfied. And that was a weekend highlight for my friend Amy. She saw it, I think, maybe Friday evening, as soon as it came out. I wanted it to do well, and overall, it met expectations for how it was predicted to do at the box office. Downton Abbey, the grand finale, $18.1 million at the box office. It did come in number 3 behind Demon Slayer and The Conjuring: Last Rites. So I wanted it to be number 1, but that's okay. And you can catch up on my Downton Abbey interviews and tales from London and New York City premieres. If you text the word Downton, DOWNTON, text Downton to the Siding Unlimited WTMJ Talk and Text line 855-616-1620, and you'll get the link to the WTMJ.com page, videos and podcasts. So text Downton if you're a fan, 855-616-1620. And the other movie that I was curious to see how it did this week, Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues. Now, it was in a lot less theaters and it didn't do as great, almost $2 million, a much more modest opening. But think about it. Spinal Tap really is a cult film. I can tell you that my friend Denise from California texted me immediately, and she was like, oh my gosh, I saw it. And Shank Hall, Milwaukee, a T-shirt is spotted at the beginning of the movie. So I love that Shank Hall gets an official shout out in the movie. If you're wondering what Demon Slayer is, it's an anime film. It made almost $70 million at the box office. It cleaned up in first place. And then The Conjuring: Last Rites is a scary movie if you just don't want to wait for October to get your haunting on. Downton Abbey in third. Again, text the word Downton to the Siding Unlimited WTMJ Talk and Text line 855-616-1620. I think you'll enjoy the cast interview I was able to do with Hugh Bonneville, Alan Leach, and Kevin Doyle. It'll put a smile on your face because they share with us what they think of when we say Milwaukee and Wisconsin. Moving on, though, to documentaries. This week, you're going to hear a Brewers documentary in about 40 minutes, just after the 7 o'clock news, just a bit outside the story of the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers. We are going to air that here on the radio, and you might be saying, really? But I trust me, it's amazing on screen. Stream it if you can, see it if you can. But listen tonight, you'll also get a special interview with one of the filmmakers for Just a Bit Outside. That starts at 7. And it is official. The Dialogues Documentary Festival that Milwaukee Film tried out last year is back for a second year. And there are over 30 documentaries, and they're of all kinds, whether you like music and pop culture. Boy George and Culture Club is a band documentary that is going to screen on Thursday night. It's Dorothy, is all about Dorothy Gale, the character from the Wizard of Oz series. And we're going to talk about that in just about 20 minutes with the filmmaker and Oz historian Ryan Jay. And it's an exploration all about how Dorothy Gale, the character, has had an impact on all aspects of pop culture, maybe some that you hadn't thought of. Also in the pop culture documentaries, We Are Pat. Yes, that SNL Pat character and how that character has had an influence on pop culture and identity. Stolen Kingdom is a Disney true crime fandom story. If you like breakdancing, there's a documentary called Wicked. And if you follow a cappella teams, Just Sing is a documentary there. And then there are other I think I would say more profound documentaries like Between Goodbyes, which is about Korean adoptees reuniting. The Tallest Dwarf, about dwarf identity and culture. And A Photographic Memory is a daughter exploring her mother's legacy through photographs. And earlier today on Wisconsin's Midday News, Jessica Tai spoke with the filmmaker, a local filmmaker, about Malignant Practice. And this is a documentary made about the healthcare system and how she had misdiagnosed mammograms. And you can hear that podcast at WTMJ.com, Malignant Practice. That is at the Oriental Theater on September 21st. Also, mental health and health in general, Shuffle about addiction and treatment, and Unquiet Mind, living with OCD. That's got to be fascinating. And then another locally produced documentary called Make Peace or Die about veterans PSD and Survivors Guild, and also about art, because this veteran creates these crosses to take to Gold Star families. And you can catch up on that conversation on the What's on Tap podcast with those filmmakers. So there's a lot to enjoy. mkefilm.org is the website to just check out. Truly over 30 different documentaries, even one about a senior cat sanctuary called Cat Town, USA. So mkefilm.org. Make your plans to immerse yourself in some eye-opening documentaries. Next, what's happening in Wisconsin this weekend for fun? That's next on What's on Tap.
Imagine that unbelievable new deck in your backyard. Outdoor Living Unlimited is Wisconsin's #1 timber tech deck builder. Building new decks and replacing old ones, creating that $1 million feeling every time you relax in your own backyard. Looking for a company to make your backyard scream wow? Stop by Outdoor Living Unlimited's resourceful Waukesha showroom and visit OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Why settle for just a job when you can have a career in the exciting automobile industry? The Auto Dealers Association of Mega Milwaukee new car dealer members have service technicians, sales, administrative, and management positions available now. The first word in career is car, and one of the best places to find a great career opportunity is at an Adam member new car dealer.
For current great paying job opportunities, visit adam.com/jobs. That's ADAMM.com/jobs.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
You know when that big online store has special days with ridiculously low prices?
Yeah?
Why doesn't Hasselus Mattress do that?
We do.
You do? When?
Every day.
Okay, good one. But really, when are the big discounts?
Like I said, every day. You know our showrooms are employee-free.
So I can give your mattresses a try?
With no pushy sales guy.
Yeah, I know.
Well, that allows us to sell Sealy Posturepedic, Beauty Rest, and more for way less.
Give me numbers.
Our 35 beds from the top 5 brands start at $393. Free next day delivery, too.
And you do this every day?
Yeah. Plus, through Monday, get a free box spring with every Sealy Posturepedic, Beauty Rest, and more, or take an equal amount off an adjustable base.
Wow.
So I guess you could say now is a prime time to buy.
I see what you did there.
Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you or shop online at Hasselus.com.
Enjoy life at Capri Communities.
I recently moved my dad into a Capri community. My dad has really blossomed since moving to Capri and has gained new independence. His falls have decreased, he's eating healthy meals, and going on new adventures. Knowing Dad is in a great place takes my worries away, and now we're both enjoying life again.
Enjoy life at Capri Communities.
Imagine that unbelievable new deck in your backyard. Outdoor Living Unlimited is Wisconsin's #1 timber tech deck builder. Building new decks and replacing old ones, creating that $1 million feeling every time you relax in your own backyard. Looking for a company to make your backyard scream wow? Stop by Outdoor Living Unlimited's resourceful Waukesha showroom and visit OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Welcome back to What's on Tap, sponsored by Visit Milwaukee. Handcrafted, homegrown, world-class. Discover more at visitmilwaukee.org. And I've been asking, what was a highlight of your weekend? The Siding Unlimited WTMJ talk and text line 855-616-1620, because we have another weekend ahead, which I will give you some suggestions for some fun, because It's never boring around here, is it? Starting to clear out my basement. I'm putting a greenhouse wall down there. Well done, 414. And also from 414 texted in, spent 3 nights around the bonfire this weekend, burning up wood that was piled on our driveway for 6.5 years. Because of that task, we were able to catch a spectacular display of the northern lights. That's right. I was seeing a lot of those photos the meteorologists were showing. Looked absolutely gorgeous. Oh, yay. So see, this is that beautiful time of year where we still have mosquitoes, but it's just nice to be outside. And if you can get outside, certainly do. And there are some fun things going this weekend. And if you go outside and you're one of these people like me, I always cover up because I'm skittish of ticks. I don't want to get a tick in my hair, so I'll put on like a baseball cap and I'll have like the world's longest sleeves, the longest pants, even on the hottest day, because I don't want to have to pick it out, and I also don't want to get Lyme disease. Well, there's a local author from Oshkosh named Christopher Miklos, and he is so fun. I had him as a guest on What's on Tap, and he has created a book called Tick Town. Yes, it is about huge mutant ticks that land and terrorize a town in Wisconsin. It is a very fun read, and Christopher Miklos is going to be in Oshkosh Thursday at the Caramel Crisp bookstore doing a book signing. He's a UW Oshkosh alum. He's also made some horror movies, and he really enjoys this pulp fiction style of novel. And it's not normally my thing. I even told him, I'm like, I really appreciate, you bringing me a copy of your book. That's very kind of you, but I don't know this is my jam. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun to read. So it's a good adventure. So look for Tick Town and look for Christopher Miklos in Oshkosh at the Caramel Crisp bookstore on Thursday night. Also Thursday, the Hone coming. Yes, the Hone Bridge has its own party. There will be a boat parade at 6 o'clock on Thursday, and at 7:45. The Hone Bridge is going to have its own light show and drone show. On a spectacular scale. And then everybody's welcome to the after party at Boone and Crockett to celebrate homecoming and one of the brightest landmarks in our city. And Friday and Saturday, I remember learning about this last year. The annual Midwest Viking Festival is at UW Green Bay, and it is 2 days devoted to Scandinavian history and the daily life of being a Viking like 1,000 years ago. So it's at the Viking House grounds, appropriately named, and they explore all sorts of things, traditions, food, stories, all aspects of medieval Scandinavia, story circles, battle demonstrations, and this completely caught my eye. Skogtroll. Skogtroll is an experiment that explores what Viking Age music may have sounded like by building and learning how to play instruments that the ancient Nordic peoples may have encountered. So Skogtroll, if you can get to UW Green Bay Friday and Saturday, let me know how your Skogtroll goes. And Saturday, speaking of drones, at Veterans Park, Saturday night, starting at 7:30, there is a drone art show. Now, this is a paid event, so you do have to buy a ticket to get in and be on that lawn area, but you will hear live string music accompanying the drone show, hundreds of drones, and it's over an hour long of a drone show. So if you're interested in the drone art show, that's at Veterans Park on Saturday. This weekend, the Cedarburg Wine and Harvest Festival is back, a fine annual tradition, and Cedarburg is really one of our most creative communities. There's some Pink Llama Gallery. There's some really good stuff happening in Cedarburg, including at the Wine and Harvest Festival, the sample grape stomp competitions. I don't know if they do it barefoot or not. It sounds entertaining to me, but a good autumn festival, the Cedarburg Wine and Harvest Festival. And then also Sunday, the Puerto Rico 12th Annual Puerto Rican Festival is happening Sunday, and it is moved to the bigger space of the Henry Meyer Festival Park. And Debbie Lazga is going to do a special report on Friday on WTMJ. And then looking ahead just past the weekend, foodies on Monday and Tuesday at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, an event called Gather and Grow. It's a 2-day event, farm to table, that is going to have just 5-course meals that are just delicious and spotlighting local agriculture. So Gather and Grow at Pato on Monday and Tuesday of next week. Stay with me. We have a documentary to dig into called It's Dorothy with special guests. But now we go to the WTMJ Breaking News Center. Here is Jessica Gatzo.
Thanks, Sandy. The mother of a child who went missing in Portage County last week has been arrested. 31-year-old Chelsea Lehman is in custody on charges related to an Amber Alert for her daughter, Ruby Lehman. The 6-year-old went missing from her grandmother's home in Almond on Thursday night. She was found on Saturday in the woods with her uncle, 34-year-old Jordan Coyle. He is a registered sex offender and was taken into custody on a probation violation. Charges have not been officially filed for Lehman or Coyle. A former school safety aide at Milwaukee Public Schools faces sexual misconduct charges. 31-year-old Samara Miller is accused of sending inappropriate texts to a student at Bradley Tech High School. In a criminal complaint, she admitted to sending the texts between November 2024 and January 2025. Miller is in custody on $8,000 bond. She's due back in court October 3rd. An environmental advocacy group wants answers about how much water will be consumed at a planned data center in Mount Pleasant. Midwest Environmental Advocates has sued the city of Racine, aiming to force the disclosure of projected water usage at the planned Microsoft data center. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports the suit hopes to force the city of Racine to turn over projected water use information because it had failed to respond to a public records request submitted in February. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Still looking at some delays on 41 northbound. There is a crash at North Avenue. The two left lanes are blocked there. You'll see delays starting back at Watertown Plank Road. Taking a look at the WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, mostly clear skies, a low of 62 by the lakefront, 58 inland. Tuesday, mostly sunny and warm, a high of 78 lakeside, 83 inland. Wednesday, still mostly sunny, a high of 80 by the lake, 84 inland. Thursday, still mostly sunny, a high of 81 by the lake and 84 inland. On Friday, partly cloudy skies, a high of 76. Right now in Madison, it's 76 degrees. In Green Bay, it's 74. In Waukesha, it's 74. And in Milwaukee, it's 72 degrees. I'm Jessica Gatso, Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 6:32.
I'm Matt Dorner, CEO of Milwaukee Downtown Bid 21. Our business leaders value downtown Milwaukee.
We practice law locally, regionally, nationally, and even globally. But downtown Milwaukee will always be our home. I'm Susan Lovern, CEO of Umbreson and Roper. We've enjoyed watching downtown grow for decades, and we're thrilled to be part of its bright future.
Get down to business at MilwaukeeDowntown.com.
Clean up on fall lawn and garden deals this week at Fleet Farm. Add a little color to your porch with 8-inch mums for just $7.99. Tackle those leaves with Trooper's 20-inch steel or 24-inch poly rake, your choice, only $7.99. And prep your lawn for winter with Superior Winterizer Lawn Fertilizer, just $16.99 a bag. Get a jump on fall with the gear you need at the best prices guaranteed at Fleet Farm. And check out even more deals at fleetfarm.com.
Bank 5-9 has a mission to make lives better. They make it a priority to give back to their customers, communities, and their employees. In fact, Bank 5-9 was just honored again by the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel as a top workplace. That makes 16 years in a row. Want to learn more about working with the great people at Bank 5-9? Visit bank59.com/careers. Equal Opportunity Employer, member FDIC.
A buck doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you. Buy one or the whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin. Milwaukee, Waukesha, Fort Atkinson, and Jefferson. Griffin. The buck stops here. The deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
For those with a warm weather fashion passion, try St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, because that's where you'll find a vast array of men's, women's, girls, and boys' warm weather apparel at the friendliest prices. So many choices, and at such a value. You can fill the closet without draining your wallet. Shop warm weather fashions at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
For your fellow fanatics and your #1 fans. For your game day compatriots and your everyday companions. For your personal cheerleaders and your personal heroes. For the reasons you smile, get covered with dental and vision insurance from Delta Dental of Wisconsin and Delta Vision. Learn more at deltadentalwi.com today.
Welcome back to What's on Tap on WTMJ.
You'll find What's on Tap if you look over the rainbow. Welcome back to What's on Tap, sponsored by Visit Milwaukee. Handcrafted, homegrown, world-class. Discover more at visitmilwaukee.org. I'm Sandy Maxx, and I am delighted to have as my guests two fine, creative gentlemen who I'm sure have heard that song so many times based on their experiences. First in the studio with me is film critic and Oz historian Ryan J. Ryan, welcome back.
Me, Sandy. It's always so great to be here.
And on the phone, we have filmmaker Jeffrey McHale, who has created a brand new documentary called It's Dorothy that we can see on Friday at the Oriental Theater. Jeffrey, welcome to What's on Tap.
Hi, Sandy. Hey, Ryan.
Hey.
I was saying, take it the two of you know each other, since, Ryan, you'll be actually handling the post-screening Q&A with Jeffrey on Friday.
And he put me in the movie.
Aha.
Yeah.
Well, he kind of had to, didn't he? You're the Oz historian. I think that makes sense. So,
one of many.
Jeffrey, describe what It's Dorothy is about for everyone.
So It's Dorothy is a feature documentary that looks at the cultural relationship that we have with Dorothy Gale from The Wizard of Oz, but told through the experiences of the women who played her, and also, the fans and the friends of Dorothy who have loved her for her journey.
Well, and Jeffrey, I'm going to go right there. You mentioned the friends of Dorothy because you're exploring not just the belovedness of somebody like me who watched The Wizard of Oz every Easter on CBS as a kid growing up when that was such a TV tradition, and it's always been a favorite film of me and my family. So it's a sentimental favorite for my family, but I remember learning that Friends of Dorothy was a phrase. And what is friends of what does it mean if you're
That's a
friend
loaded question.
No, but it really is the kind of secret password to let people know that you're with kindred spirits. What are Friends of Dorothy, Jeffrey?
Well, Friends of Dorothy, I guess there's the myth about what Friends of Dorothy is. I mean, it is known as a phrase that gay men used back in the 60s and 70s to identify each other, ask each other if they were a friend of Dorothy, and if they said yes, then they knew the phrase, and it was a meant of communicating, finding each other amongst the crowd. But one of the things that I looked into was just a lot, because there are a lot of these myths that Over the Rainbow inspired the gay pride flag, and that obviously Judy Garland being the prime gay icon of our culture, and so a lot of these things exist within queer culture in their connections with the Wizard of Oz. That some of them there's some facts connected to them, and other of them they're part of a myth. So it was interesting to kind of dive into some of those too, because Dorothy is very, very deep with the gay community.
And Jeffrey, what drew you to this subject? Because you've done a feature film documentary, 5 years ago?
I did. Yeah. So I mean, as a friend of Dorothy myself, I've been a fan of The Wizard of Oz since I was a child. So this story and this character has been very important to me. And so, my last film was called You Don't Know Me, which was about showgirls, the film. Very different subject, very different topic. But it was as a parent, I found myself kind of wanting to reconnect with some of the things that I had loved in my childhood, and I went back home a couple of years ago to visit my parents, and my mom got out a stack of old artwork and projects that I did when I was in elementary school, and there was a giant stack of Wizard of Oz stories and drawings and images that I had made, and I was like, there's clearly a young passion when I was a child, and so I was like, well, maybe there's something there, and there's so much about The Wizard of Oz that I love. Obviously, love Judy, love MGM. But I also, as a kid, really enjoyed Return to Oz, starring Fairuza Balk, and that came out in 1985. And as an adult, discovered The Wiz. And so it was like, I wanted to make something about Oz, but what is it? Oz is so large and expansive that once you realize that Dorothy is kind of the through line for all these, really interesting topics and moments in our culture and women who played her, I realized, okay, it's Dorothy. Literally, it's the title. It's Dorothy. And it
exclamation
was just kind of
point.
Yeah, exclamation point. Don't forget the exclamation point. And then it was just fun, to kind of explore this. And like, there's so many different paths you can go down. But, it was then reaching out to the women who played Dorothy and inviting them, and then finding people like Ryan who, love The Wizard of Oz, and finding all these interesting, unique voices like Rufus Wainwright and Margaret Cho, Amber Ruffin, John Waters, and just, hearing their relationship and to the character and to the story.
Jeffrey, it's like you built your own community around this community to reach out to all these people who have the same affection and passion for Dorothy Gale.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it is like, this film has been with us for so long, the story has been with us for so long that, every generation alive has some sort of relationship with this. So, it is one of those interesting subjects and stories that, it's not hard to find people who will talk about this,
It's called It's Dorothy. The documentary is screening at the Milwaukee Film's Dialogues Documentary Festival on Friday, 5:30 at the Oriental Theater with a filmmaker talkback. You're hearing Jeffrey McHale, and in the studio with me is film critic and Oz historian Ryan J. We will continue this conversation and taking your questions on the Siding Unlimited WTMJ Talk and Text line 855-616-1620. Stay with us on What's on Tap.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Patrick and Monica initially chose a bank to get pre-approved and provide financing for the purchase of their first home. But they were getting a bad feeling when a week after their offer was accepted, the bank still hadn't locked in their rate, nor had the appraisal been ordered. Monica shared her concerns with a friend who happened to be a multi-time AccuNet client. That led to Monica connecting with one of our senior loan consultants the same day, and after gathering some information and reviewing options, we locked in their rate right then and there with loan costs $3,600 lower than what the bank had quoted. The appraisal was ordered right away too, and the loan closed on time just 3 weeks later. We also noticed an oversight in the contract that led to a $3,000 credit from the seller. You can get a generic pre-approval and average or worse service from a bank, or you can get the kind of fast service, advice, attention to detail, and savings that made Monica and Patrick AccuNet's latest raving fans. All you got to do to get started is click on the blue button at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Talk about value. When it comes to casual dining, I can't think of a better value out there. If you're looking for a way to stretch your family's dining budget, come to Marty's Pizza, where feeding your family won't cost you an arm or a leg. We're reasonably priced, and that's how it's going to stay. That's why we've been around so long. We offer a quality product at the right price. Italian dinners, subs, sandwiches, salads, and of course, 100% real mozzarella cheese pizza. Find us easily online at martyspizza.net.
Marty's Pizza. Do you remember when times were good? Well, they're good again. It's as good today as it was in the past. It doesn't get any better than that. Remember Marty's Pizza.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
A great way to add value and curb appeal to your home is with the new LiftMaster or CHI maintenance-free garage door. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. A study by Remodelers Magazine reports that the average return on investment is an amazing 82%. Garage doors rank first among all home improvement projects. To see Geis's huge selection of doors, visit their showroom in Brookfield, or you can also visit their online showroom at geisdoors.com. Geis has everything from alley doors to custom wood designer doors and everything in between. Remember, for all your garage door needs, you call Geis at 262-784-4250. That number again, 262-784-4250. It's Geis. Visit them online at geisdoors.com.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
What's on Tap with Sandy Maxx is back on WTMJ.
I would dance and be merry. Life would be a ding-a-dairy if I only had a brain.
Ah, beloved moment from The Wizard of Oz film. I'm Sandy Maxx, and there is a film all about Dorothy Gale, the gal who goes to Oz and knows there's no place like home. It's called It's Dorothy! ! And it's a documentary by film director Jeffrey McHale, who is with me on the phone, and in studio with me is Oz historian and film critic Ryan J. And Ryan and Jeffrey will be together at the Oriental Theater Friday at 5:30 for the screening of It's Dorothy, exploring the cultural impact of the character of Dorothy Gale and doing a Q&A afterwards, which is one of the best things about a Dialogues documentary festival, where you can actually ask those questions of the filmmaker, because I'm sure there will be many. And Jeffrey, I have more. Why did you invite Ryan J. to be part of your It's Dorothy documentary? How did you find out about our local Oz historian?
It only took a quick Google search to see who, online, kind of like who are the people that kind of live and breathe this Oz stuff, in my early research process. And so Brian's name kept coming up, and we had connected on Facebook a couple of years prior, but I hadn't actually messaged yet. And so I reached out and sent him a message, and, we scheduled a Zoom, and, it was just kind of, the beginning of it was just kind of like a fact-finding exploration process. And then, as the months went on, I obviously wanted him, a part of his voice, and his expertise, a part of the project as well. So it was an honor to connect with him. And then he obviously knows so many people within the community. So it was very, very helpful.
And Ryan,
contact indeed.
Ryan, you were able to be at the Tribeca Film Festival when It's Dorothy screened. What did it feel like to see yourself on screen?
Well, Jeffrey's a really brilliant filmmaker, and as a documentarian, he does something really interesting where he takes the Dorothys and like the main stars of a creative project, puts them on camera, and everyone else is interviewed audio only, which makes it a lot harder for him as an editor. But he's an incredibly talented editor, and so this film is gorgeous to look at. It's so much fun to watch, and I'm so honored to be a part of it. And at Tribeca, it was super fun because some of the stars were there. And I just want to, say that one of the things that I think that Jeffrey did so brilliantly in this movie is how he explores how universal Dorothy's journey is to everyone, but how the character really represents every American. Dorothy is a dreamer. She evolves. She helps others. She's a hero in the end, right? And her story crosses cultures. It's intergenerational. And while her story is universal and her journey is universal, she is someone that really represents us all. I mean, she's made red footwear iconic and gingham iconic. And, we barely can go a week without hearing, "You're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy," or, "Click your heels to get where you're going." So I just think he did such a great job at paying homage to not only the character, but also telling some of the personal stories that parallel Dorothy's journey through the women who are with us that have portrayed her as well.
And Jeffrey, how does it feel to hear that analysis from Ryan?
Oh my gosh, such an honor. Yeah. I mean, that was the fun part was just, when we, as an editor too, we're kind of finding your way through the forest of all of these stories and these experiences. But, midway through the editing process, it was once it kind of clicked, like, oh, we need to follow Dorothy's journey. Like, we all know that journey, a very familiar, kind of feeling like an outsider, not wanting, you don't belong. And then you're kind of whisked away and standing in the doorway of something that you might not be, that's not familiar, that you don't recognize, but still moving forward. And so many of the women that I spoke with, all experienced moments of Dorothy's journey along their own journeys. And it was really exciting and inspiring to kind of connect those things visually.
And Jeffrey, one last question for you. It had to have been hundreds of hours of interviews and all this pop culture footage, because now we've got Wicked, which I would say is Dorothy adjacent, but you've got the L. Frank Baum body that continues to live and breathe and excite people. how in the world did you whittle this down to, what, a couple hours of film or an hour and a half of film? It must have been 8 hours at one point.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it definitely took many different shapes and forms. And thankfully, I have a very smart team that I work with and collaborate with because, we're constantly sending things back and forth and rough cuts and vignettes just to kind of see what's working. But yeah, it is like, it's been years. I've been working on this for over 3 years. And it's just been so exciting to watch this and experience this with audiences. And I'm so looking forward to Milwaukee this weekend.
What's your favorite Dorothy Gale moment?
Ooh, Dorothy Gale moment. I do think it is, I had the privilege of speaking to a woman named Gita Morena, and she's Elle Frankbaum's great-granddaughter. And she speaks about this moment where Dorothy is standing in the doorway. And I feel like that moment is so universal in all of the Oz adaptations. After you experience this crazy, quote, cyclone, you then land in this strange land. And I feel like that moment where she's standing in the doorway and figuring out whether, you go back, you turn around and you cry in the corner, or you step forward. And I think that's an important moment that Dorothy faces and that we all face with it.
What a poetic way to describe that, the door opening.
Yeah.
He is Jeffrey McHale, filmmaker of It's Dorothy, the new documentary all about Dorothy Gale, the character that has been immortalized in the Wizard of Oz series and her pop culture impact. So, Jeffrey, I welcome everybody to come meet you and ask you more questions at Milwaukee Film's Dialogues Documentary Festival, Friday, 5:30 at the Oriental Theater. And Ryan J., Oz historian and film critic, you will be there to moderate the Q&A afterwards.
Can't wait.
Thank you
So excited.
both
Thank you
for hanging out with me tonight, and have a great time. And I look forward to seeing you there at the Oriental on Friday.
Oh, thanks, Sandy.
My pleasure.
See you there. No place like home.
No place like the Oriental Theater either. Wait till you get there. Next, the song you need to hear is by a flamboyant and fabulous 80s band that is also the subject of a documentary at the Dialogues Documentary Festival. A #1 hit by this band is the song you need to hear, sponsored by Flanners Home Entertainment. Visit them at flanners.com. At Flanners, music matters. Sound advice at the best price. Just press play.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats.
Now through Wednesday, save on 48-ounce selected varieties Stone Ridge ice cream, 2 for $7. 7-ounce selected varieties Banquet pot pies, 5 for $5. 4 to 6-count selected varieties Dannon multi-pack yogurt, 2 for $6. 6 to 12-count selected varieties Ice Mountain spring water, 2 for $5.
I am starving.
Oh no, never walk into a Century when you're hungry.
Unless it's free sample day. Ooh, pizza, yes. I'd love to try that one.
My husband thinks he can make a meal out of grocery store samples.
You need to wash this down. I think I see someone handing out samples in the liquor department.
Geez, can we focus on our list?
What's this?
It says you can win 2 tickets to Green Bay's home game against Chicago on December 7th.
Or autographed footballs, or a 4-pack of Green Bay Hall of Fame tickets.
You have to enter through Century's Facebook or Instagram.
I'll be entering this on my phone in the deli next to that cheese sample station.
I'm shopping at Century alone next time.
Enter by November 12th.
Fall in Milwaukee, where the air is crisp, the drinks are cold, and the good times are just heating up. Stroll Milwaukee's lakefront and explore its parks as they burst into a kaleidoscope of golds, ambers, and reds. Raise a glass at a beer garden that feels like a neighborhood block party, Milwaukee style. And just as the temps fall, Brewers baseball is turning up the heat. October dreams are made right here. This season, every color, every cheer, every sip, it all comes together in Milwaukee. Craft your perfect getaway at visitmilwaukee.org.
In 1964, we were making strides towards space travel.
Mary Poppins was the #1 movie in theaters.
And the Beatles were taking America by storm.
Which was long before I was born.
Facts. 1964 is also the year it all started for Richland's Tire and Service Centers. 60 years of continuous growth and more happy customers than you can shake a stick at.
Okay. Hey, the streamers are a bit overkill. It's just us in the studio.
All right. But it's important to know accomplishments like these aren't possible without a dedicated team. So hats off to them and our founder, my dad, Dick Mitchke, for understanding the importance of customer focus.
Facts. There's no 60 years of anything without you, the customer, which is why our focus will remain on you and only you for years to come.
Thank you from all of us here at Richland's Tire and Service Centers.
Richland's Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richland's.
Your first date? Going well. The carnival? Cash only. But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you, with access to over 30,000 surcharge-free ATMs. So when you decide to win that giant stuffed purple raccoon at $5 a throw, we're looking out for you. No matter how many throws it takes. You've got this. With 30,000 surcharge-free ATMs from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. This is What's on Tap with Sandy Maxx. And now, feast your ears. This is the song you need to hear.
Most blokes are going to be playing at 10. These go to 11.
This band is the subject of the new documentary, Boy George and Culture Club. It is screening at Milwaukee Film's Dialogues Documentary Festival Thursday at 7 at the Oriental Theater. And you're an 80s fan. This is actually a documentary that talks to all four of the band members, so you're going to get it right from their mouth. The humor and the heart and the glitz and the glam. And this song was a #1 for Culture Club. Can you guess what it is? I would have thought it would have been their very first single, but it wasn't. It was a single that came out about 1983. Karma Chameleon is the song you need to hear. Sponsored by Flanners Home Entertainment. Visit them at flanners.com. At Flanners, music matters. Sound advice at the best price. Just press play.
Does music matter to you? Flanners Home Entertainment wants to help you have the best music experience at home. They've got high-quality products, the best prices, and high-fidelity expertise for the best sound in and outside your home. Now is a great time to shop Flanners with their Music Matters sale event. All speakers, all amplifiers, receivers, turntables, CD players, music streamers, and accessories are on sale. Visit Flanners Home Entertainment today in West Allis, Grafton, or at flanners.com. Sound advice at the best price. Flanners. Just press play.
I think it's coming from over here.
No, I think I hear it over there.
Hold on. Here it is.
That's the Perry Sleeper, one of Penny Mustard's most popular sleeper sofas.
Yeah, and I think I know who's sleeping on it.